All right, let's talk about that feeling in your gut. You've had it, right? You're about to make a big decision, and even though you can't quite put your finger on why, you just feel it. Maybe it's a strong pull telling you to go for it, or maybe it's this weird sense of dread telling you to run. Well, today we're diving into the science of what that feeling actually is.
I mean, we've all been there. You know the one. Maybe something looks perfect on paper. The job, the relationship, the investment. But some quiet little voice inside is just screaming, nope. Or maybe the opposite happens. You take a huge leap of faith on something that makes zero logical sense, but it just feels right. Well, what if that feeling isn't random at all? What if it's your brain working its magic in a completely different and much faster way? That quote just nails it, doesn't it? It's like having an internal compass, this little whisper guiding you. Now, this isn't about throwing logic out the window. It's about realizing that there's another stream of information coming in. And it turns out scientists actually have a name for this whole process. They're called somatic markers. Yeah, I know, it sounds super technical, but stick with me. It's really just the sciencey term for these gut reactions. Think of them as emotional bookmarks. Every time you have a strong emotional experience, your brain tags it and stores it away. So the next time you're in a similar situation, your brain just pulls up that old feeling to give you a quick hint. Okay, think about it like this. If someone asks you, hey, how was your day? You don't pull up a mental spreadsheet and logically analyze every single moment from 9 to 5, right? No way. You just feel the answer. You say, it was good, or, oh, it was rough. That instant feeling, that's a somatic marker. It's an absolutely brilliant shortcut that stops your brain from getting totally paralyzed by overanalysis. And this is where you can really see the difference in action. Pure logic, it's slow, it's deliberate. It wants every single piece of data before it makes a move. If we had to rely on that for every tiny choice we make, we'd never get out of bed. But somatic markers, they're the complete opposite. They are fast, instinctive, and they work with the data you already have, your past feelings. They're what make us so efficient. So where in the brain is all this happening? Well, scientists have pinpointed a specific spot called the ventromedial prefrontal cortex. Let's just call it the VMPFC for short. You can pretty much think of it as your brain's central hub for gut feelings, or all these emotional bookmarks are stored and retrieved to help you out. Okay, this brings up a huge question, doesn't it? I mean, a gut feeling is so internal, so personal. How on earth do you even begin to design an experiment to measure it? To test it objectively? It seems impossible. But a group of very clever scientists figured out a way. They did it with a high-stakes card game. It's famously called the Iowa gambling task. And it was literally designed to put intuition under a microscope. So here's the setup. You sit down in front of 4 decks of cards. The only instruction you get is to draw cards and try to win as much money as you can. But here's the secret, and they don't tell the players this. 2 of the decks are good decks. They give you small wins, but even smaller losses, so you slowly build up money. The other 2 are bad decks. They lure you in with huge payouts, but then they hit you with even bigger, devastating losses. And the results? Honestly, they were striking. People with healthy, functioning VMPFCs, well, after a while, they started to drift towards the good decks. They couldn't always explain why. They just kind of felt it was the better strategy. But the participants who had damage to that specific part of the brain, it was a totally different story. They never learned. They kept chasing those big flashy wins from the bad decks, and they lost money, again and again. It was like their gut feeling circuit was completely broken. But wait, because that's not even the most mind-blowing part of this whole thing. See, the scientists weren't just watching which cards people picked. They also had them hooked up to machines that measured their physical stress responses. And what they found tells us something really profound about where intuition comes from. It all happened after just 10 card draws. 10 draws. Think about that. Long before anyone could have consciously figured out the pattern, their bodies already knew. When participants with healthy brains would reach for one of the bad decks, their palms would literally start to sweat. It was a physical warning signal, a little flare of anxiety. firing off way before their logical brain had any clue what was going on.
This timeline just shows how incredible that disconnect is. At around card number 10, the body sends up a red flag. But it took until around card 30 for the conscious mind to finally catch up and start deliberately avoiding the bad decks. That gap, that 20-card gap where your body is screaming, "Hey, danger!" and your thinking brain is still playing catch-up, that is your intuition in action. So what does this all mean for us in our actual lives? Well, the big takeaway is that your gut feeling isn't some magical, mystical force. It's a real, biological process. And the key is learning how to listen to it without letting it completely run the show. So here's the game plan. First off, just remember, it's not magic, it's data. It's your brain running a super fast analysis of all your past feelings and experiences. Now that means you shouldn't just blindly follow every single hunch you have. But you absolutely should not ignore that inner voice either. The best way to use it is to treat a strong gut feeling as an alert. It's a signal to pause, take a breath, and use your logic to investigate why you might be feeling that way. It's all about finding that perfect balance between feeling and thinking. At the end of the day, all this research shows us that our bodies are constantly talking to us, constantly sending us these valuable signals to help us navigate a really complex world. That feeling in your gut, it's not random noise. It's a real piece of data, rooted in your own unique life experience. So the only question left is, your body is sending you signals. Are you listening?